WPRI 12 and on WPRI.com. This is Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
Most Newport County residents finally waking up warm this morning in their own homes as National Grid is closer to having 100% of its customers' gas back on.
And making a wish come true as the Patriots get ready for the Super Bowl. Local boy getting ready to join the team there. Show you his big game plans coming up. Good morning. It is Monday, January 28th. I'm Patrick Little.
And I'm Danielle North. Michelle standing by now with a look at your Monday forecast. And how's the day shaping up, Michelle? Eyewitness News continuing to track developments for the Newport gas emergency. Over the weekend, National Grid moved a lot closer to having service restored to everyone that lost it last week.
Alexandra Leslie's been covering this story for the last week. She is joining us once again live in Newport with new details.
Good morning. Well, today Newport schools will reopen and we're told that school buses will run on their normal schedule. Plus, if you've been staying in a hotel, you can also start to get reimbursed for those costs today. Now, National Grid says things will be handled on a case-by-case basis and people will be paid by check. Now, overnight, National Grid says more than 600 of its technicians were out restoring service late into the night to complete restorations. Around town, green stickers have been placed on doors of homes or businesses to show that gas has been restored. National Grid's asking those customers to leave stickers on until everyone has service so crews know which ones have been served. But there's still more to do. The mayor says there are still 2 phases left in recovery.
While we are a good portion through the gas restoration and the gas service restoration, there is still the latter part of the recovery, which includes the economic recovery and making sure our residents get reimbursed and compensated and our businesses are made whole.
National Grid also says it plans to work with seasonal residents who may not be in town right now. The company says it'll provide another service update later this afternoon. Reporting live in Newport, I'm Alexandra Leslie, Eyewitness News.
Now we'll look at a story you'll see later tonight, dairy dilemma. If you help with the grocery shopping for your family, you've probably noticed the price of milk going down in recent years.
But those savings come at a cost to local dairy farmers whose businesses struggling to survive.
Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nisi joins us now with a preview.
Agriculture is having a renaissance in Rhode Island. Since the start of this century, the number of farms in the state has jumped from about 850 to more than 1,200. Ken Ayers is chief of the Rhode Island Division of Agriculture. He tells me he feels good about the industry in general.
There are strong positive signs, and this has been the trend for the past 10 to 15 years. The number of farms is definitely increasing. The local food economy is strong.
But one part of the industry is not thriving: dairy farms. There used to be hundreds of farmers milking cows every day in Rhode Island. Today there are just a handful struggling to survive. Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News, I'll take you to a local farm to explain why it's getting so difficult to make the milk in your family's fridge and what's being done to try to help. That's tonight starting live at 5 on WPRI 12. Ted Nisi, Eyewitness News.
Patriots weren't the only ones having a big send-off yesterday. Los Angeles Rams ready to face New England on Super Bowl Sunday, which will be exactly 17 years after Tom Brady and the Pats beat the then St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36. They too touched down in Atlanta last night. The Patriots plane obviously a little bit nicer, right? Because
Yeah.
It's their own aircraft. Get it?
Yep.
Craft. All right, before they headed to the airport in L.A., some players predicting a win. Take a listen.
Seeing us going from that year 3 years ago, 4-12, going to the Super Bowl now, it's amazing. We appreciate all your support, and we're ready to bring Lombardi back to LA. Thank you all.
A little bit different of a vibe.
Yeah.
A little bit more mellow.
Crowd size different too.
And that was their kicker, by the way, not their star quarterback. Anyway, we're your New England Patriots station. We're getting a little confident, as you can tell, in our tone. Starting Thursday, we'll have New England Nation big game specials leading up to and after the Super Bowl, Sunday, February 3rd.
Looking forward to a week of coverage here.
Fun.
Time now 5:37 when we come back on Eyewitness News this morning.
Man accused of going on a shooting rampage in Louisiana, now in custody. We'll tell you how his family led police straight to him.
And no more clickety-clack in Philadelphia's train station. The iconic Amtrak flip sign is gone and now onto its final destination.
You're watching Eyewitness News on WPRI 12. It's coverage you can count on. Update now on the dam collapse in southeastern Brazil. Officials confirm the death toll is 58 now. More than 300 people still missing after iron ore waste from a mine flooded the city of Brumadinho on Friday. Search and rescue efforts still ongoing after officials briefly suspended it amid fears that a second dam was a risk of breaching. Luckily, rescue workers were soaked in mud. Appears to be drying out those areas to previously unreachable areas. Latest developments now on a shooting rampage that killed 5 people in Louisiana.
Police say they arrested the suspect in Richmond, Virginia yesterday after an hours-long manhunt across state lines. 21-year-old Dakota Terrio is accused of shooting and killing his girlfriend, 2 of her relatives, and his own parents. Police say relatives in Richmond actually notified police that he might be there.
The grandmother, who lives in our jurisdiction, went to stay at a hotel last night. She called this morning looking for the officers to go by and make sure that the house was safe for her to go into.
Well, after police arrived at the grandmother's house, Terrio actually pulled up, pointing a gun. He eventually surrendered to police. An iconic display being moved and unused as travelers were there to watch the Amtrak flipboard at Philadelphia's 30th Street train station being taken down. It's being replaced by a digital display which complies with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The new screen will be much easier to read. The flipboard's next destination is the Railroad Museum in Pennsylvania.
Still ahead here on Eyewitness News on this Monday morning.
It's such a wish. I always wanted to go to this big game, and I can't believe they actually made it.
A wish and dream come true for a Patriots super fan. We'll have his story after the break. Here's a quick look at some of your top stories.
Gas restoration efforts continue on Aquidneck Island. Officials say a lot of progress has been made. Today marks day 8 of the efforts to restore the gas. At last check, about 95% of those affected had their gas turned back on. Newport schools set to reopen today. Newport's mayor says the city will begin making sure people and businesses recover financially as well. And the incident that led to the outage is still under review.
A committee on the Rhode Island State Lottery is going to meet today to observe the impact that sports betting has made on our casinos since it was legalized. They're looking to get a financial update across the board on facilities both in Tiverton and Lincoln from sports betting and marketing promotions. Now, sports betting was made legal here in Rhode Island back in November. New England Nation bringing you continuing coverage as the Patriots are getting ready for the big game.
Of course, many from southern New England are following the team down south as fans.
Eyewitness News reporter Erica Ritchie introduces us to one young man who's going to be one of them thanks to Make-A-Wish.
More than 400 wishes are granted each year by the Make-A-Wish Foundation here in southern New England, and each one is certainly special. But one Rhode Island teen was recently granted a wish that is arguably priceless.
I always wanted to go.
Adam Aref tries his hand at a big game matchup via PlayStation from his Wakefield living room. But he's always wanted to experience the hype of a Super Bowl game outside of this virtual reality. And now he can.
I'm really thankful, what they did for me.
It was the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Massachusetts and Rhode Island that made Adam's wish come true. He has a rare genetic disease known as Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's progressive, irreversible, and there's currently no cure. That's why Adam is excited to savor every opportunity he receives.
It's such a wish. I always wanted to go to this big game, and I can't believe they actually made it.
They being the Patriots. Adam, like most fans, admits it was a tough season, and securing another trip to that big game wasn't looking promising for the Pats, especially when he found out his wish was granted back in November.
It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad, the Chiefs didn't make it.
Perhaps not all 16 kids from across the country who were granted the same wish would agree, but they can all at least appreciate that what makes their trip possible is the devoted partnership between the NFL, the Patriots specifically, and Make-A-Wish for nearly 40 years.
Rob Gronkowski has granted 14 wishes. Julian Edelman has granted a number of wishes. So they've been a great partner of ours.
And I hope they, do it, their best, even if they don't pull it off, as long as they tried their best.
That's all the Pats are hoping for, too. This year's battle cry, everything we got.
So I think they're just a good team, and Belichick's a great coach, Brady's a good quarterback, and you mix those two things together, and you just have something, really good. My favorite part is seeing the confetti, the celebrations, just as long as it's, my team, not the Rams,
Yep, Adam, we certainly know, and we couldn't agree more. By the way, Adam's predictions for the big game, 31-24, of course, the Patriots with that win. Adam leaves on Thursday for Atlanta, where he'll have a private party for all the Make-A-Wish kids, a meet and greet with the players, and a special behind-the-scenes tour of the stadium. We hope you have a great time, Adam. In the control room, Erica Ritchie, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Melissa. Here's what's coming up on the Roadshow this morning. It's time for Winter Style Week. Roadshow talks all things fashion all week long. Plus, get in your best shape. Experts at AIM Fitness stopping by to show you some exciting exercises. Didn't think there was such a thing as exciting exercises, but we're going to find out what those are this morning on the Roadshow. It's at 9 o'clock right here on WPRI 12. Up next here on Eyewitness News on this Monday morning.
Still more coverage you can count on ahead. Curiosity got the best of a little boy in New Jersey. He somehow wedged himself up to the waist in fun, but we'll tell you how police saved the day.
Into at 6, 2 candy companies ordered to pay thousands of dollars in fines. Why it was all over what's apparently not in a box of chocolates.
The Stock Report is brought to you by White Cross Pharmacy. Local pharmacists, local people, delivering the med pack free to your door.
Pretty unique rescue in New Jersey. Police called to save a child stuck in a toy.
Yeah, in a toy. 20-month-old, Luca's misadventure brought him to a standstill. That toy is supposed to hold different shaped blocks that go inside the holes, but Luca somehow pulled the lid off and then climbed in it. His mom realized he couldn't move, so she had to turn to the professionals. There was no need for the jaws of life. An officer used his own strength to get him out, and then Luca was finally free in the arms of his hero.
When you said his name, I thought his last name was really Misadventure. You said Luca's Misadventure. Like, wow,
that
how
might be his nickname,
right,
though,
exactly,
now.
But no, I'm glad he's okay.
All right, if you're just starting your day with us, it's 5:56, and here are the stories we're following at 6 a.m.
Patriots waking up in Atlanta. Countdown continues to the big game. We'll have reports from Yanni Caracas and Ruthie Polinsky outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
At least 600 National Grid technicians working overnight to restore gas. I'm Alexandra Leslie. I'll have a live report coming up in Newport next.
We have a cooler day on the way for today, the final days of January 2019 this week. I'll let you know whether we have any snow in the forecast.
And you're moving the speed limit in and around Providence. So where are the slowdowns? I'll have details straight ahead.
Another full hour of Eyewitness News coming up next right here on WPRI 12.